I've gone for the quadruple up with Spain and Portugal, and I'm about to tell you why. But before I do, let me give you a warm welcome, guys. Thank you for joining the Gianni Buttice YouTube show. Please do hit those buttons, like and subscribe. There's loads of reasons why I like Spain and Portugal. So before we see my actual 15, let me just tell you why I've gone big on these two teams. Well, Spain and Portugal in match day 1 and 2 really caught the eye. In match day 3, both teams rested a lot of players. They're about to go back to their match day 1 and 2 teams for the knockouts, right? Tick. The XG has been really high, and you guys know I love an XG. The fixtures are really, really good too. And when we look at the bookies odds, guys, and I always like to, I don't pick my teams based on bookies odds, but I use it as a guide. Projections and projected goals, Spain and Portugal projected to outscore any other team. They are ranked number 1 and 2. This graphic is from my boy Rob T on Twitter. England, Netherlands, Germany also ranked high to score. Even when we look at clean sheet odds, Spain right at the top, then England, then Portugal. England, Portugal, Spain. You should have big investment from these three teams, I think, in your match day 4 teams. So should we see my team then? Yeah, I think we should. Let's start with the goalkeepers. Oh, I've gone for... You're going to see a lot of England cover at the back. So I've gone for Jordan Pickford because that's what Southgate's good at. Southgate is good at keeping teams out. And I have no doubt England can get a clean sheet against Slovakia. I don't know how many goals they'll score. And I don't know if I want to spend 11 million on Harry Kane, seeing how England have been attacking. Although I expect England to score. I do expect clean sheets too, though. It just feels like a safe investment. So Pickford and then Verbruggen. Remember, guys, match day 4 is over 4 days. Make sure your keepers don't play on both those days. Verbruggen plays on the last day. I think Pickford is day 2. So that works nicely for me. Verbruggen is so cheap. The Dutch have got a good chance of a clean sheet against Romania. It gives me that option on day 4. This is actually my only player on day 4. So if captaincy goes as far as day 4, my only option is Verbruggen, but he got me 7 points a couple of weeks ago with captaincy, so I guess we'll take it. 14 with captaincy. So they are my 2 goalkeepers. Let's have a look where it gets interesting with defenders, mids, and attackers. Guys, I really do appreciate, by the way, you hitting the like button. It's amazing for the algorithm when I get likes. It means YouTube shows my channel to more people. So I really appreciate your support. And I know you're all subscribing and hitting that notification bell when you do. So, defenders. A lot of 3 fullbacks and 2 England centre backs. That's kind of what we're going for here. Let's talk away from England, though, to start off with. Many of you will look at it and go, DeMarco, what's he doing in your team? Italy aren't overly fancied. Do I think Italy are going to win? It's a 50-50, right? Switzerland are a good team. I have to have at least one Italian player, though. I am playing this game, yes, for overall rank. I would love to win it, but I'm really playing for enjoyment. And I know if I've got more skin in the game and I've got an Italian player, I can really celebrate those wins. Who is the obvious Italian player to pick? Well, it's probably a defender, Bastoni, DeMarco, or Donnarumma, right? So I've gone for DeMarco, who offers me the upside. He's 5 million, and I think I'm going to captain him in match day 1, guys. I know the obvious option is to captain your German mids, but I'm just going with a what the hell approach to captaincy in match day 1. And again, it's heart over head, DeMarco. Do I advise you buy Italian players? Probably not. Do I advise you buy Swiss players? Probably not too. Like, that's the hardest game to call. That's such a hard game to call. João Cancelo offers loads going forward for Portugal. Again, was rested, just like Dani Carvajal was for Spain. So Cancelo and Carvajal are both in. There is an argument to say you should have double Portugal defence, given the fact they play Slovenia. We saw Slovenia against England. They don't offer much in attack against good teams. It'll be a very deep-lying 4-4-2. Carvajal plays Georgia, who actually did offer quite a lot against Portugal. But again, this is a Spain team that just keeps the ball. We saw what they did to Italy in match day 2. I don't think Georgia will have many chances. Could you go double Spain defence? Yeah, you absolutely could. But for me, one of each is fine. And the team I'm up for really investing in defence is England. So I've got Gahey and Stones in there. Remember, ball recoveries matter. And Gahey, I think, is top of the charts, or maybe second for ball recoveries in the tournament so far. We've, of course, already spoken about my boy, Fede DeMarco. Other defenders I like here, Laporte of Spain, definitely an option. And I think Van Dijk is also a really nice option. It gives you that day 4 option as well in Van Dijk. Bastoni too. Outside of that, I don't really like the idea of investing massively on the French guys. Koundé and Theo Hernandez would be the obvious ones, but Belgium could pop up with a goal. And then I would look at Austria. They would definitely be a team to consider with defensive options. And there is 4.5 and 5 million options there for Austria, including a 4 million goalkeeper, Pence, the Austrian number 1. As we move into the midfield, then let's have a look, because the theme continues with Spain and Portugal. We've spoken why I love them, right? I'm backing these teams to have the highest ceiling. So pick their attacking players. Now, when we look at the Spanish team, they play with 3 behind Morata. And the 3 behind Morata are Pedri in the number 10, right? More advanced position to where he's been at Barcelona recently. And then either side, you have Yamal and you have Nico Williams. Now, Yamal is unfortunately listed as a forward. So he's a 6.5 million forward. He's a good option. But Nico Williams is a midfielder, right? And Pedri is a midfielder. So these two are in my team almost by default. Both played really well against Italy in match day 2, by the way. And then for Portugal, Bruno, Bernardo Silva, as well as Pedri and Nico Williams, by the way, all again were rested in match day 3. Nice little rest for them. I thought Bernardo Silva's spot was a bit vulnerable for Portugal because of the strength they've got out wide with Conceição on the right or Neto. But seeing how Neto and Conceição played in match day 3 and how Portugal didn't function well, Bernardo Silva is absolutely key. And he will be, of course, starting on the right-hand side. We've seen returns already this tournament. He's not my favourite FPL asset ever. I never pick him in FPL. But I just fancy Portugal to get a fair few against Slovenia if they click. And if they do, Bernardo and Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo are going to be in amongst the points. So those 3 names, spoiler alert, for the forward slot there, are all in my team. Musiala. Do you go Gundogan and save a bit of cash? Do you go Vert because he's a baller? Or do you go Musiala because, well, he's already scored 2 goals this competition and he gets more minutes than Florian Wirtz? Doesn't quite get the Gundogan minutes. If you're going to want purely a minutes play, purely a fact he's on penalties play, Gundogan's your man. But I do like Musiala as an option. I just feel like he's more explosive. So I've gone with Jamal Musiala for the first game there. And many will captain Musiala, and I completely understand why. Other midfielders that haven't made it in that I like. Well, Sabitzer is a 6.5 mid who's definitely front of mind for me. Baumgartner as well. The 2 Austrian attacking mids there. Good options, I think. Elsewhere, it's been slim pickings for mids. That's why the likes of Bernardo and Pedri have made it into my team. I wasn't absolutely sold on Bernardo and Pedri, but it was more, they're the best of the rest. I wanted to flirt with an Italian mid. I did think, do I punt on a Pellegrini or a Fratesi if we hear they're starting? We still don't know if they will start, but before the deadline, of course, we will get the Italy team. Barella is another option. He will be starting. I have a feeling we might not see Pellegrini and Fratesi, and Barella could be a nice option. He could play more advanced if Cristante comes in, and that's what I think Spalletti's going to do. Cristante and Jorginho sitting with Barella more advanced. If that's the case, I do think Barella's a really nice option too. So Barella is almost like my 6th pick. But do I go DeMarco or Barella? I think I go. It could be Pedri and DeMarco, or it could be Laporte and Barella. That's the only thing that I could change in this lineup. Same money spent there, by the way. Shall we talk forwards? I think we should talk forwards because there's a lot of forwards I like. Guys, thank you, by the way, for commenting as well. I've been looking forward to all your comments, so I will respond to as many as I can before the deadline. So there'll be no deadline stream, unfortunately, tomorrow. So do, or maybe you might be watching this Saturday morning. So let's have a look at the forward, shall we? The 3 I have gone for. Now, this isn't an easy decision. There is no Harry Kane. There is no Memphis Depay. I haven't gone for these guys, but I think they're both really good picks. The reason I've not gone Harry Kane is purely a money thing. I don't know if he's worth 11 million, and funds are tight, right? You're going to use the full 105 million here. Of course you are. So no Harry Kane. I just trust the England defence when I'm invested in their players more than the attack. I think many would agree. If we knew Cole Palmer was starting, by the way, he could be a good midfield pick at 7.5. And then up front, I'd love a Gakpo or a Memphis. Memphis is 7.5. I just think Holland could have a really good chance of a high ceiling game against Romania. I haven't gone with Depay though, because I think there's 3 better options. Another player I like is Yamal at 6.5, and many will have him because he's so much cheaper than Morata. He does play out wide though, and of course Morata you would expect to get greater XG chances, higher XG chances. Will he finish them though? That's always the question with Morata. So without further ado, let's see those 3 players that I'm talking about. We'll start with Morata. Will he play 90? Probably not. The likes of Ferran Torres or Ithobal are there ready and waiting. They had good match day 3s. They could come off the bench at 70 minutes. But for the first 60, 70 minutes when Morata's on the pitch, he plays a Georgia team that have shown defensive vulnerabilities. He plays a Georgia team that was so high in match day 3. How's their energy going to be for match day 4? Well, the Spanish will come in very energized because many of them had a day off. They've had a week off. They've had a rest, a mid match day 3 rest. Morata is chasing goals. He is the main man at Spain. And whether you like him or not, he is playing in a very well functioning team that produce chances for him. Look at the creativity around him. Pedri, Nico Williams, and Yamal. Like, that is some crazy. Danny Carvajal provides him with a lot. Rodri provides him with chances. Morata's going to get chances. Now, he just needs to improve on his finishing, but that's been the story of his career. He can still score goals in any given game, and he can score a hat-trick in any given game. So I'm backing Morata here, and I genuinely think he's an exciting captaincy option for many, and a real differential captaincy option as well. So that's Morata. And by the way, he's 8.5. You're not spending Kane's sort of money here. You're not spending Mbappe or Ronaldo money. And Mbappe is in this team because I feel like he's playing really good football, and I feel like he's been really unlucky. I think he's clocked around 2.7 XG in the first 3 games. He's only scored the 1 goal. I think that's right, 1. And if France do score, and they don't look like a team that's going to score many at the moment, again, a bit like England, France look better at the back. But if they do, you know Mbappe's going to be involved. He's also had a rest in match day 2. You'd think he'd be fresh. Belgium and no mugs. Now, that could be a tight game. I don't quite know how to call it. I think France probably win 1-0, or a very tight France win. That's why I'm avoiding the fixture. There's no Belgian players in this team. There's no other French players in this team. But I don't think you can go without Mbappe, seeing how he's playing. He's, of course, the most talented player, some will say, in world football at the minute, and many will say in Europe, right? And many will say the best striker in world football. Go without him at your peril. From one best striker in the world to a former best striker in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know how I feel about Ronaldo in this Portugal team. I'd like to see Portugal play with Jota in the number 9 and just go, oh, do we actually look better without Ronaldo? Because so many teams, Man United realised they look better without Ronaldo. Juventus realised they look better without Ronaldo. He's been offloaded of late. But I can't forget the game against Ireland, the friendly before the Euros, a few days before the Euros started. Ronaldo played Ireland, and he looked like Ronaldo 10 years ago. Scored a brace, looked amazing. He can turn it on, especially against smaller teams. If Ronaldo was playing Belgium, if Ronaldo was in Mbappe's shoes, I wouldn't be picking him. But the fact he has Slovenia, he's gonna get chances, isn't he? And again, he's 10 mil. Like, I just think Ronaldo, this match, this is probably the last time I'm going to own Ronaldo in the Euros. I don't see him me owning him when he has the really difficult games. And because of the side of the draw he's on, he's going to have difficult games after this. So I'm pretty confident I will be wildcarding after this, because I've picked a ton of players from the left-hand side of the draw. If you don't have your wildcard, remember, guys, you probably need more players from the right-hand side of the draw as well. You need your Austrian players or your Swiss, English, Italian players, more representation from that side, because you need routes to the final. I'm going to have routes to the final when I wildcard next week. In terms of locked players here, guys, I don't see me changing anything. The only change I could make, as I mentioned, is Pedri DiMarco could become Barella Laporte. Italian, Spanish switch slightly, and then it'd be Barella captain, but I don't think I'll change much. Shall we talk, though, quickly about captaincy? pretty cool little emojis here. I'm editing my own videos at the moment. I usually have a colleague edit videos with me, but they're having a summer off. So the production value, apologies for the Euros content, hasn't been as strong. But when I start FPL season again, expect shiny new graphics and all the bells and whistles. But when we're looking at captaincy, on day 1, DeMarco, then day 2 and 3, I'm looking at Morata and Ronaldo. That means no Mbappe captain, I don't think. And then if it gets that far, I'm going to have to go Verbruggen, but I reckon if it gets to like a Morata Ronaldo on 6-7 points, I'll just be sticking, knowing that I've got Verbruggen as my only option on day 4. Some will say have a day 4 captaincy option. I think it's unlikely I'll get to day 4 with captaincy, so I'm not that fast. If you really want to, though, Xavi Simons, 7 million mid, Depay, 7.5 forward, Van Dijk. These gives you probably better captaincy options than I have in Verbruggen. You could look at the Dutch players, I think, in day 4. That'd be the one. But I'm not too fussed there. So I'm really happy with how my team's looking, guys. I did a video a couple of days ago where I looked at my first draft. There has been a few changes. The major changes, I don't think my attacking lineup's changed at all. But the major change has just been more investment with England. Instead of having 1 England defender, I've effectively now got 3 if you include Pickford. Taken Donnarumma out for Pickford, taken Mittelstadt out for John Stones. But yeah, not many changes. Guys, I am very nervous going into Saturday night. I'm very nervous that Italy don't do it. And I'm not confident Italy do it. If they do, you're going to see a very smiley Gianni next week. If they don't, I'm still going to be here for Euros content, but it won't quite be the same. Italy haven't deserved much. Can they turn it on in the knockouts? Maybe they can. You could say the same for England, though, right? England fans are watching this going, we've got this unbelievable opportunity because the side the draw we're on. And Italians are the same. We really do have this unbelievable opportunity. Can we make the most of it? I hope for your sake, England can. I hope for my sake, Italy can. And when they meet in the quarters, if they meet in the quarters, I'll be dreading that football match. But Switzerland are good. Slovakia, not so much, but Switzerland are good. And maybe they go in as favourites regardless. Guys, thank you as always for watching. I look forward to seeing your comments. And I thank you so much for your support, your likes and your subscribes. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.